welcome to Muffin Talk.
Kia ora and welcome to Muffin Talk. This program is brought to you by the initiative Titipounamu, Study and Joy. My guest today is Father Joseph Victor Edwin. He is a Jesuit from the Dehli province and he teaches theology and Christian-Muslim relations at a college of theology in Delhi in India. He is part of the Jesuits among Muslims in Asia, a network of Jesuits and collaborators active in the study of Islam and engaged in solidarity actions with Muslims. Last year, we celebrated 60 years of Nostra Aetate, the Vatican II document promulgated by Pope Paul VI in 1965. On the website of the Jesuits in Asia Pacific, this document is quoted with the words, "Since in the course of centuries, not a few quarrels and hostilities have arisen between Christians and Muslims, this sacred synod urges all to forget the past and to work sincerely for mutual understanding and to preserve as well as to promote together for the benefit of all mankind, social justice and moral welfare, as well as peace and freedom." Father Joseph, how would you define interreligious dialogue?
Thank you. Thank you for invitation to join in this conversation. Interreligious dialogue is a way of life. We believe that God has created us in God's image and likeness. So we are all brothers and sisters. We are called to respect the dignity of each human person. And we understand that human dignity is very much interlinked with the person's faith convictions, his or her faith conviction. We cannot really respect a human person without respecting the faith convictions or religious beliefs of our neighbors, our brothers and sisters. So interreligious dialogue is very much connected with respecting the dignity of other persons. So we are all called to live together in community, not in isolation, and not against one another. We are all sent to engage with one another, to know the other, to love the other, respect the other. The Vatican document invites us to esteem the faith of the other. Esteeming the faith of the other is really respecting the dignity of the other person, brother and sister. So interreligious dialogue is very much, it's a part of our human nature to respect the other. And interreligious dialogue also in the church teaches that the first form of interreligious dialogue is dialogue of life. As I said, respecting dignity. Dialogue of life is participating in the joys and sorrows, in the life struggles, in the family joys and sorrows of our neighbors, celebrating with them, mourning with them, helping them, working together for a common good. This is a form of dialogue that we all live. But the interreligious dialogue is coming to a greater awareness of what we are doing. The other form is the dialogue of action. We coming from different religious convictions, religious backgrounds, drawing inspiration from our religion, the scriptures and ways of life, to work together for something for a common good, like caring for the Mother Earth, for something for the local community, some common good, shared responsibility towards a common good. That is living our interreligious dialogue in a very active way. Then also the dialogue of spirituality. every religion has the spiritual dimension. The
Mm.
spiritual dimension is not another sect or another way of away from the main body of religion, but religious mysticism or spiritualities, some very deeper dimensions of the religious life. So every religion has mysticism, mystics, mystical writings, come to know one another and highlight what is something beautiful that we learn. So in the dialogue of spirituality, we come to learn from the other, and we allow the lights from the other sources to illumine what is the treasure within us. So that is another form of interreligious dialogue.
We've practiced in Auckland Interfaith Council. We have done this kind of dialogue also with events where we have one theme, like the theme of gratitude, the theme of prophets or pilgrimage. And then each one of us was talking about our own faith journey and what it meant to us. And we found out that there's so much in common.
Yeah, in the interreligious dialogue, we come to recognize there are common ground, common elements in our religion, in our religious scriptures, the teachings of the mystics or the teachings of the great religious leaders. So we have a common ground. But I think becoming aware of the common ground between us is something very important. Probably that is the first step, but we need to develop the ability to speak about our differences. A Jesuit scholar on Islam, he used to say that uh, having no to understand the common ground and the common elements, talking about common elements is like something like welcoming somebody to the parlor of the house where everything is neat and clean, to have a good conversation. But we also must proceed further, go to the kitchen where things are messy, differences. So the ability to think reverentially about the differences is very important aspect of dialogue. I think there the mutual learning can happen. Um, we have differences. No, we say no. We have common elements, and also we have profound differences. Sometime
Yes.
in my conversations with Muslim friends, often used to say, "See, there is no difference between Islam and Christianity. We are all same.
No,
We are all
no.
same. Our difference is very small." I say, no, we are not same. We are different. uh, Difference in the sense is not difference need not lead us to conflict. Differences can enrich us. That's why I
Yes.
can learn from you. By sharing your sharing and my sharing, we can mutually learn. I think when we my experience or my learning is when we respectfully deepen our understanding of the differences, we not only learn something new, but also we become deeply rooted in our own faith. Our own faith is no, we understand our faith much more better. We understand and live out our faith much more meaningfully.
I think that's why I often quote Goethe, the German writer, who said, "If you don't know any other language, you don't know anything about your own language." And I think it's the same with religion. By learning about other religions, you are thinking about your own religion, and then you want to know more, and your knowledge gets deeper. And I think that's one step, the knowledge, widening the horizon and the knowledge. But what do you do if people are ignorant? There are different sorts of ignorance. Can you tell us these challenges about ignorance?
Um, I have been teaching Islam, Christian, Muslim relations in the Jesuit centers of theology, Delhi, and other regional centers like Chennai, Madras, and Ranchi in central India, and Hyderabad, and in Bombay and other places. One of the challenges that I face is the students, brothers and sisters, and also lay people. who attend the courses, they are ignorant of the other. They have some vague idea of who Muslims are, but a lot of prejudices against Muslims. So, one of the first exercises that I do is I request them to write down what they think about Muslims, what they know about Muslims, what they think about Muslims. Simply write down without any fear or favor. Just write whatever they feel, both positive and negative. After that, I request them to just read out what they have written. I put it on the board, write it on the board. All that positive, all that negative, they just say I keep writing. Once that exercise is done, I request them to carefully look at the board and ask a question in themselves. Um, what are, among these, what we have written, what we think about, where this knowledge about Muslims? Why I said like this, I said like this. Where did I get this knowledge from? And I realized that most of the positive things they said about Islam or Muslims comes from a personal experience of knowing a Muhammad, knowing an Ahmad, or knowing Aisha, or knowing Fatima, knowing the other, knowing a Muslim person, the positive things. Of course, there are also some negative things in their personal experience by cheated by a Muslim businessman or a money lender in some places. So some negative experiences are personal experiences, but mostly positive experience. Then you ask them, what about the negative experience that you have said? Yes, few of them are personal experiences, but most of them are from hearsay, either from media, either from or from the films. Now there is a film, I forgot the name. It's very strongly negative about Islam.
Is an Indian film?
Indian film, yeah. Actually, I was talking to a Jesuit who is doing doctorate in artificial intelligence in one of the very big private university in Delhi. He said most of his friends, lab companions, are Hindus, very intelligent people, but they were speaking so negatively about Islam. Not saying that movie really shows these are the Muslims, and in his own group there is a Muslim. He's really helpless, but just keep quiet, and then just do what to do. We cannot do anything. So ignorance, mainly this negative experiences from the hearsay. This we all learn together. We together as a group. Yes, there are many positive experiences personal. Then from there we draw a lesson that knowing Islam is not just reading the text. Text is important, and context, meeting Muslims is important. That's why the course that I designed, there are some a Catholic Christian studied Islam. I have some inputs I give, but also I invite some Muslim friends to come and speak on their faith. But also I take them to a madrasa, that is a religious school, then a Sufi shrine, and to meet some Muslim scholars and ordinary people. Sometimes with women, students, guys here in India. Sometimes Muslim women, men go, we cannot meet. So the religious sister students, they go and meet. I accompany them. I stay with the Muslim men, and they go inside with the women, they talk. So this no experiences help them to come out of ignorance. Here, many of them, when we give this type of experience, when we expose them, expose ourselves. I'm not saying they,
Hmm.
including myself. Then we learn easily. Okay, oh yes, sorry, I had an idea like this. It is more complex. There's not white and black, all Muslims. But there are, so I learned to know, I learned to relate with, but also I know to give a witness. Yes, no, don't say all Muslims are like that. There are difficulties in every religion. It's not religion because of social context, political context. So that type of interaction. some students are ready. Some others are much more strong on their ideological conviction or political reasons, because in their particular state where Muslim politics, so they have to find some difficulties. It's very difficult to engage with them. But I found, a regular engagement, allowing them to ask questions. Even sometimes, they show their anger against Muslim. They turn it on me, trying to ask, questions. They think there's a difficult question, but that's where, I have grown, and I'm grateful to God very patiently. I know I always say to myself and also pray for that three P's: patience, prayer, and perseverance. Allowing them to ask, even if some questions are humiliating, I respectfully try to respond, and some of them try to see that. The third one is very difficult. I have not found really a way to help them. They're very strong, something like ideological. In
Mm.
India, the one of the groups, ideological group, Hindutva, they call. They are very clear about what their agenda. They would not change. Unfortunately, some Christian friends, including Jesuits, are quite ideologically. They think Islam is inherently violent. Well, you show the scholars say how the scholars talk about. For example, they very strongly believe that Islam spread through sword. I tried to give his make a presentation showing from the scholarship. Islam spread in Asia precisely through uh, this merchants and the Sufi saints. It's
Mm.
it's not my what I just saying, but it's from the history, from the scholarship, from the scholars have written. And these merchants and the Sufis are simple people, but they are zealous Muslims, and they have shared their faith. Islam has spread, but they are not willing to know Islam spread. That type of very strong.
Do you think they are afraid that they are watering down their belief, or is it just they don't want to hear anything?
Some of them, there may be two types of people. One is ideologically, we have to fight Muslims. That type of very strong. Very few of them, but very strong. But there are others, genuine, but a fear of Muslims, no, in the sense of, see, as you put the word watering down, faith. Uh, no, Jesus is the way. Often they ask me, Jesus is the way, and why we should talk about Islam. We must speak about Jesus to them. It's not that going and meeting them. It will give them an impression that we do not have truth. We are trying to search for truth. That type of questions, very genuine questions they ask me. I encourage them, I support them. I say, yes, good to ask questions. These are not something which we should not ask. We need to ask these questions. I try to show them that, see, by engaging with the people of other faiths, engaging with Muslims, I say we come to recognize the mystery of Christ beyond the borders. Because we cannot simply confine Christ within the church and its borders. By the virtue of Jesus becoming human person, here Jesus identifies with all humanity, inclusive of all humanity. So in their life, we can recognize the values of the gospel, the presence of Christ in them, and the Spirit blows wherever she wills. So it's not watering down, rather, we become more and more aware of the mystery of Christ. So I engage with them this type of conversation.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you are really opening their minds and opening their hearts.
Another dimension, no, with this serious conversation, students, some of them serious conversation when they, not only in the class afterwards, going for a walk or at the table during their meals, they ask, another aspect that I try to explain to them is, see, dialogue with Muslims, it's not the reason is not just sociological reason, because we live in a pluralistic world, we need to engage with others. Yes, sociological reasons are important, but they are not adequate. We need to really root ourselves in the theological reason. So I just to share with them that we are all created in the image and likeness of God. God is relational. That is at the heart of dialogue, and that image we are created. So you and me are created for relationships, relational. We are our DNA. In a way, our DNA is relational. The way God has created us is to relate with others, Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists. But at the same time, that we always need to discern.
Yeah.
Discernment is a very important component of dialogue, because a person who has a very violent attitude, we cannot have dialogue
Mm.
with her.
But as you
Yeah.
said, once you know the people, then you have a lot less prejudices, and then you see the other in a more positive light, often in the majority. Tell me what fascinates you in interreligious dialogue, because I think it's also a challenge to be involved in interreligious dialogue. But what fascinates you personally in this work?
Uh, Over the years, I really felt that my personal vocation is to be a Jesuit among Muslims. I'm very grateful for my life. I'm very grateful for my Christian vocation to be a Christian, and also called to be a Jesuit. And over the years, last 30 years or so, I have come to realize it's my personal vocation. Personal vocation is not something which what I want to do. I know. Personal vocation is something unrepeatable about myself. It really gives meaning to my life. Now I am 60 years old, so I can say that with a sense of humility, sense of gratitude, and sense of confidence, that an unmerited gift of uh, called to be a Jesuit and sent among Muslims as a servant of the church. That is something which grips my no, grips my life. Some time ago, I was sharing in a spiritual conversation. I shared in the gospel. The Lord talks about a man who found a treasure and sold everything. So I was reflecting on my own life. I shared with a friend of mine in a personal spiritual conversation. I said, no, of course, with the humility, not any sense of great grip on it, but with a sense of humility. I have sold my good health, my ill health, my sufferings and my joys, my failures and my uh, small successes, everything I invested, and I need to continue to invest. So that fascinates me, first of all. Uh, Joy of sent among Muslims, not sent to Muslims or sent against Muslims, but sent among them to give witness to Christ, and also to learn from them and really see them as the pilgrims towards truth, as we are all moving towards truth. Then another image that really fascinates me is that in the table of eschaton, uh, we all will be together. Because we come from God, we return to God. At the table, I don't know whether our differences will disappear or differences will remain, but I really believe that there will be a koinonia as Christians, Hindus, Muslims at the table of the Lord, as brothers and sisters, men, women, all will be sharing. That is very, it really makes me joyful, makes me to shed tears out of gratitude, because at that table we all will be together. That's where the truth will be revealed. I believe that some of the Muslims, some friends, their life, they have something called taqwa. Taqwa is not fear of God, but more deep consciousness of God consciousness. I have seen them, the way they pray, the way they relate with their family people, children, and their grandsons and granddaughters or others. There's a sense, so I can feel the sense of that they are living in God consciousness. So that challenges me to really do I live in that consciousness. So it's an invitation to become a better Christian.
So you're opening also the ideas to others to continue with this with a similar conversation, because it is enriching, as you say. It's that diversity which makes us stronger also. So thank you so much, Father Joseph, for these insights, and thank you for bringing interreligious dialogue closer to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sister.
Out there, oh, peace is calling. In the bonds of love we meet. For the world, a new day dawning and shine.